Welcome back. Hey, I'm really excited about this segment. We have a best-selling author with us that is going to help you and help our audience learn about becoming a messy manager. I'm here today with Jean-Guy Francoeur. And Jean-Guy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Great. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. We want to get into why you wrote a book called The Messy Manager. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the author of Messy Manager, and really what it all comes down to for me and what's happened is that in building teams and working with companies across the country, I found that it's really difficult. People are really making messes of their departments and of their companies.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really messing it up. It's incredible. Just recently, I was with a client, and they had somebody come in as a new manager. They completely destroyed all of the work. They had recently had 20 and 30% gains, and they ruined it. And that really inspired me to write the book.
So who is the book directed to? Like, who are the people who are going to get the most out of this book?
We're looking at small business owners and medium-sized business owners, people who have a team of anywhere from 5 people to 50 people. That's who's going to get most out of this book.
And what do you find? Like, because being a manager, especially for small business owners, it's messy. It's messy. But the thing is they have a certain amount of problems that are unique. It's not like being a manager, for example, in an enterprise or in a public setting. So tell me, who are the people? What are the structures, or what are the problems that they face on a daily basis, and how do you help them?
Well, I'll tell you, the main problem they face in comparison to the big enterprises is that they have less budget, and they typically think that they're conditioned by that. You know, I don't have as much money, I can't hire big consultants, so on and so forth. That's really what they use as an excuse, in my opinion, because it doesn't cost a lot of money. See, the book was written as a philosophy, and this is why it's called The Messy Manager. Think of a piece of spaghetti. Now, those are your employees.
I love thinking about spaghetti.
Those are your employees. Now, you have 2 ways. You want to get these employees, this piece of spaghetti, from this side of the table to the other side. You have 2 ways of doing that. You can push it with your thumbs. Now, this is cooked spaghetti. It'll get there, but it's a messy process. That's pushing. That's management. That's what people call management. They push, they push, they push. Now, there's another philosophy. You can take the front and you can pull it. See, when you do that, you can pull your employees with recognition system, employee management systems. There's a variety of ways of pulling them. That's leadership. So think of leadership as pulling, management as pushing. That's why we call it managing is messy, leadership is simple, but not easy.
Yeah. So what are the biggest problems that people make? What are the mistakes that they make in terms of trying to pull the spaghetti across the table?
Well, the problem is that they don't try to pull it. They push it, and they keep reinforcing, they keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. So if somebody's not performing the way you expect them, see, people, what they do is they push. They push you harder. They push you and push you and push you.
And nobody likes that.
Well, nobody likes to be pushed. And they push you in places where it hurts typically. Rather, what we would suggest is, what if you had an employee recognition system? Even if that employee has a fraction, just a very small piece of them that does a good job, recognize that. Start using that and build it out.
Okay.
And pull them. Pull the spaghetti.
So tell us, what's your background? How did you get into this whole area of being a messy manager?
Well, I built a company. In the last 10 years, I've built several companies. I've been sort of what they call a serial entrepreneur. I've built anywhere from cleaning companies, product distribution companies, and I had a chain of health clinics, 6 of them, in fact, in Canada's capital. I was very successful. We've developed, obviously, a variety of concepts because we went from 300 clients to over 3,000, from nothing to the #1 company in the city in that area, and we had to figure out how we did it and why we did it, and now I want to help other people. That's why I wrote the book.
Wow. And so the people who struggle the most with managers have what paradigm, or what's the thing that they struggle the most with in terms of their belief system? Because I saw the section where you deal with mindset and attitudes and that sort of thing, but what do they struggle with internally?
Well, you know what's interesting is I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, just yesterday actually, and what he was saying is, I can't believe this person is managing and coaching like that. And I said, you know what? People coach and manage the way they've been coached and managed.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, if they've come up, let's just say you have someone who's older, maybe mid-50s, and they've come up through the 70s and 80s, and they've been pushed and sort of, they've worked with the under the thumb, under the finger. It's not like that anymore. The new generation, Generation X, Generation Y, they don't work like that. You got to pull them, you got to motivate them, you have to empower them, recognize them. Everybody wants to be recognized. That's one of the key things. It costs very little to put in a recognition system, and it'll go a long way.
Well, I would imagine getting a guy like you to consult with a small business is probably an expensive proposition. How do you work, and how does somebody get paid for the kind of work that you do?
Well, we do a variety of things, and we help clients all around the world, anywhere from small business to medium-sized business. I mean, it's really a process, and it's definitely not a cheap endeavor, if you will. But I'll tell you this, it's something that companies can't afford to look away. It's just, the results are not there anymore.
Do you think your type of work is something that actually benefit a company financially? Because I think a lot of people would see the kind of work that you talk about in Messy Manager as an expense. Is that the way you see it?
Absolutely not. As you know, and you knew I would say this, it's an investment. I mean, the fact is that we have productivity indicators and we have KPIs, key process indicators. We can measure all this stuff, no problem, and we can see the productivity go up. You can measure it with employee turnover. So it's not just sort of building a brand or an image. Or it's much more than that. It's tangible. We can actually measure it, so it's important.
So tell us, how do our viewers get more information about what it is you do and about the Messy Manager?
Well, the number one thing they got to do is go to the website, messymanager.com, and then what they got to do is I can give them a complimentary copy of my book just by watching this CV segment.
Well, I want to thank you for being here today, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to encourage you to get the Messy Manager. It's a great book. It's very practical, a lot of stories. I loved it, and I recommend that you go to Jean-Guy's website and download everything you can download right on the spot. He's giving you an opportunity to get a copy of that book for free. We'll see you in a few minutes.